Hi, my name is Julia James Davis, and welcome to The War on Beauty. The War on Beauty came out of a question that I have been asking myself for a really long time, which is why is everything so ugly? Why is everywhere we go, all of our stores, our advertisements, like everything that we interact with as people in the outside world, our TV, our music, why is it all so ugly? It really feels like an intentional thing. And this is something that matters to me so much because I love art. I love all things beautiful. So I started to think about it, and it came to me after pondering for a while that this is an intentional war on beauty, hence the title of this series. And why do I think it's intentional? I think that there's an intentional destruction and weaponization against beauty to cut people's connection to God off. So before I get into it any further, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Julia James Davis, and I was raised in one of America's wealthiest families. My grandfather was one of the nation's most prolific wildcatters, and he translated that amazing success into an incredible career in real estate development, building some of the most beautiful buildings in our country. My grandmother, she is one of America's best dressed fashion icons. She is every couturier's best customer. So I had a very unique upbringing, and beauty being such an integral part of that. And of course, I went on to go to one of these schools, one of these institutions, studying art history, and also studied at the Sotheby's Business School. So I got one of those useless degrees, but now I'm using it for this series. And now where I'm at with it is I have revived my great grandfather's dress company, picking up those entrepreneurial reins. And now I am starting my career. I am a designer, an artist, I have a cartoon, and it pains me so much to see the destruction that has been happening in our culture. So, this is something that is so important to me, but I think that it's important to everyone. In fact, I know that it's important to everyone, not just if you're born into more privileged circumstances or not. This is something that applies to everyone. Everybody loves and yearns for beauty. It is one of the three transcendental things, objective truths that all people yearn for. And the premise of this series, The War on Beauty, is looking how there has been a intentional weaponization of beauty and against beauty to hasten this cultural destruction of the West, which has coincided, not coincidentally, with our political and economic decline and ruin. We are in now a phase and period of crisis, according to the fourth turning. We are in a crisis period, and I believe a big reason we're in this crisis is because there has been a systematic erasure of beauty in our society. So the way that I'm going to be looking at this, what is beauty? Because that's sort of a big question to ask. And I am going to be looking at beauty through a Catholic lens. I'm Catholic, and it's something that's very important to me, and I believe that Catholicism has the truth for what beauty is and what the answer could be to going against this culture war that we're in. Catholicism believes that there are three transcendentals of God. That would be 1, beauty, 2, truth, and 3, goodness. God is beautiful, God is true, and God is good. God is the creator of all things, and he is the author of beauty. So creativity and beauty is truly a divine manifestation of God. And so you can see how if beauty has a very unique power to convert people's hearts and uplift them to God, why this is such an important tool if you're aiming to oppress and lull to sleep an entire population, which is what I think is going on. And I think what is this outside force that wishes to go against beauty, this eternal divine truth? I think that it's this woke ideology that has been systematically implemented at all levels of our society, and most importantly, in this cultural level. So, the topics that I am specifically going to cover in the War on Beauty are fashion, art, music, literature, film, architecture, all the things that make up what you traditionally think of as culture. And I think it's so interesting to look at these topics through this real beauty lens, because I think the word beauty has been so hijacked, and it's something that people project a lot of narcissism and self-centeredness and superficiality onto, when actually real beauty is such a deep and important power for really knowing God, who, like I said, is the author of all beauty and who is the ultimate creator. And true beauty is something that is beauty that points beyond itself to God. You get a very powerful force for conversion. Instead, in our society, in all of these areas that I've mentioned, fashion, media, film, music, architecture, so on and so forth, real beauty has been replaced with false beauty, deceptive beauty, and an ideology. Because when you take away true beauty, you also lose truth and goodness. So this show is really about just finding out where this war on beauty began, when and why, and how we can always just look back to God as the North Star, as our hope, and as our antidote to this. I love watching videos that are talking about our society now, like politically, economically, but I notice a lot of people don't bring like solutions to the conversation, which is something I feel is very important. And I believe that the solution is always in God and always in faith, and specifically for me, through Catholicism. So that's something I think is really important to bring to this conversation. But still, I am going to be talking about this through a sociological, political lens as well. So I hope that you will follow along as I am going to talk about all of these things, how the war on beauty has affected our architecture, our civic spaces, the media that we're being fed, fashion. This has really been a main tool in this ideological culture war, and has precipitated quite a swift downfall of our Western culture here in the United States. And so I think this is something so important to talk about and bring into the conversation. So please follow me if that sounds interesting to you, and I will see you in the next video.